Hey folks! Hello again. Welcome to another episode of Bluecoats. Sorry, we're starting a minute or two late. It's my fault. I was making tea. Um, I'm Strash, he, him. I'm one of the regular streamers here on Actual Play. And we are doing a wacky set of adventures tonight. We are going to be doing a two-part mission where one part of it is a very standard Blades heist, where we're going to be breaking into Bellwether Crematorium in order to rescue some evidence so that we can actually further our case. And in the process, in order to get all of the thieves on board, we will also be relieving them of some coin. Uh, and meanwhile, we are going to be, what is the other half of this? We're going to be continuing the investigation with a brand new rookie blue coat alongside the powerful and terrifying Inspector Heartless Tui. So
Yes.
we'll see how that goes. That's it for me. Lauren, take it away.
Yes, I'm Lauren. I use she, they. I'm at the Stray QB on Twitter. I'm coming to you live from New Zealand, hence the awkward backlighting there of daylight. I can't wait to get stuck into this wild adventure. I don't want to talk anymore. I'm just gushing so much. I need to stop. Judd, how are you doing?
I'm well. I'm Judd, he, him. And yeah, I'm excited to do something very different with this game and see a different side of the characters. So this is exciting. I'm digging it, especially after having played this game so long. We're into over a dozen sessions, 14, 15. And so shifting gears like this and doing something totally different is really neat. So I'm excited.
All right, Judd.
Let's do this thing.
You got some stuff prepped for us? How are we gonna jump into it?
Um, Tell me what Drav. So, like, I picture Drav like putting his badge in his desk and putting in paperwork for days off that he never takes. So he probably has a bunch saved up, even though I doubt, blue coats get a whole lot of vacation time, but you've got a bunch saved up. And what does he do to get back in the groove of being a spider? What does that look like?
So what you're asking for is the training montage between Drav the Blue Coat and Drav, whatever new persona he has. Is that what I'm hearing?
It doesn't have to be a training. It could just be like, does he wear?
I think the training montage is just a type of montage that we're all familiar with.
Yeah.
But this is like
Yeah.
a setup slash heist planning montage type
Right.
thing. Right. Okay. What does that look like? Well, I think that there is this. So probably there is some like cool soundtrack by like Two Steps from Hell, which is all instrumental. And I think it's probably there is a sequence of so we've seen this before. Drop has a tailor, a very specific tailor that he attends to. I believe he took Maya to this tailor when she needed to get like
Yeah.
not Severosi witch clothes, and the tailor knew how to ask specific questions like, "Do you need holsters and things like that built into your outfit?" So I'm gonna guess that this is a tailor that Drab has used since his street days, as it were. So I think it's probably a montage where like we see like the three mirrors and the like small podium, and we see the like tailor adjusting some stuff, and it's gonna be like one of those like rising camera shots that like rotates all the way around, but it's interspersed, right? Like so like it'll show like maybe like a 5-second clip of like the tailor like putting like needles in, and then it'll cut to Drav on a train like rapidly writing things into books, and then like it'll show like a clip of like a very specific coat getting put on, right? And then like Drav adjusting, and then you see him like make a gesture, and like there's like knives that are like hidden in the sleeves that are for easy access and that kind of thing. And then Drav is talking to he's arguing with the leader of the wraiths, and you know, like it just intersperses like this like dress up montage with like Drop talking to the Dimmer sisters, and then like finally the I think the last moment is there's a thing that Drop realizes, which is that he can't play himself necessarily on this case, because this is not actually an Ocean's 11 heist, like as in him putting his face up front. There is no like super cunning plan that's going to exit that way. So what he needs to do is like build a persona. And I think that the last step is that he gets a mask that's akin to a whisper mask, which has nothing to do with supernatural properties, and it has more to do with building out this character of a spider who might have a different rep and a different name, right? Like he's going to go by like a handle as opposed to like his own actual name, even though he'll put the team together. Like everybody gets code names, and as a matter of fact, he might show up with like masks for everyone, so that everyone is called by like an animal name, right? And how no, he can't give it up. I think his is like just like a silver raven, right? Because like, and it's grinning obviously. So, cat. Sorry about that. So, sorry, small feline accident. Let me fix the camera stand 1 sec. Oop. Alrighty. Yes, I'm slightly tilted, but it's okay. Yep, there we go. I think I'm good now. Alright, so yeah, I think that's it. Does that answer your question, Judd?
Yeah. It's good. It's good. Cool. Lauren, so you're gonna play Rosalind tonight, who
Yes.
is kind of like the whisper face of the Dimmer sisters, but I think the Silver Raven's pitch is kind of too good, and you're going. Are you going off on your own and doing this as an independent, or are you like going to the Dimmer sisters themselves and like asking these old ghosts who lead the gang to for permission? How are you doing this?
Well, as far as I know from Rosalind, she's quite loyal. So I think like she would go to the Dimmer sisters and would petition like leave. maybe she has like some leave banked up from all of the time she's worked with them, and would take a long weekend off to pursue this mission.
Yeah, and I think you're in the round kind of amphitheater in the round that Maya was in back when she was getting the Kotar burns taken off of her, and the 12 ghosts who run the Dimmer sisters are all around Rosalind, and they say, Rosalind, if you're having a personal emergency, of course you should go deal with it, but you're not a clerk in some firm. What is it you want to go do?
I think like Rosalind probably like adjusts the cuffs on her sleeves, and then looks up very casually at these ghosts and says, "It's been a long time dwelling within these walls, and while I appreciate my position here," and then so we get like the tiniest kick of a smirk, and she's like, "It's nice to go out and have some fun and explore the other aspects of ghostly entities and arcane structures that possess these possessed offscable."
Let me ask you a thing. Imagine that you could have anything from the Spirit Warden's vault. What would Rosalind want? Is it like, I don't know, the ghost of her brother, or is it like a particular ritual that has been stolen for ages that she's curious about academically, or like what's her drive?
Oh yeah, this definitely has got to be like some like a collection of ghosts and jars to bring back to the Dimmer sisters, right?
All right.
Yeah, and I think that there's a bit of arguing among the ghosts, and finally, what they come to is, Rosalind, we trust you. You've given us no reason not to, but bring something back that lets us know that this was worth your time.
Of course, I wouldn't dream of doing otherwise.
Be well. Enjoy life outside of the mansion.
And I will be equally as glad to return home.
Cool. What animal mask does Rosalind wear?
It is it is. I think her code name is the Foxfire Ghost, but it is a fox.
Nice.
Ah, rad.
Nice.
I think our muscle is probably like a silver nail with a kraken mask.
Yeah.
And I think I'm trying to decide exactly how perverse Java is in some ways. Like, do I make an eel mask for the poor Wraith, or I think it's a mouse. I think that's what he settles on. And
cool.
There's so I think that's most of it for right now.
Awesome. So then I guess the question for you, Strash, is do you want to play Drav or do you want to play the Wraith Andrel?
But I was actually talking to you about this before a game.
Yeah.
Playing a spider is fine if there is a lot of PCs to sort of like deal with the action in the moment. It's cool because then you get to do the like, but I anticipated for that, and then you do the scene. But when you're playing with two people trying to put like all of the action on poor Maya and me just playing support off the back line is going to be a little bit hard. So I think I would actually prefer to play the Wraith in the moment because it's easier for me to like actually like do some of the RP as opposed to just being like, no, go ahead, I'll just add +1 D assist, it's cool. I think just dynamically it'll work better on screen, if that's okay.
Cool. Yeah, that's great. Where is so Andrel is the Wraith who tried to shoot Suresh and was caught. With the rest of the Wraiths, they were sent to Imperial City to avoid the mess of Rorik's War, and they stayed there. And we had this cool conversation about our thoughts on the Imperial City and how it's like this very opulent place in the middle, and then like the poorer areas all encircle it. And so the poor areas, the areas left to poverty are probably very like there's a lot of crime and a lot of organized stuff because there's just no other opportunities out there. So I think the Wraiths are doing very well out there, just probably because the rich folk in that center area are not used to being burgled at all. And so, yeah, they're making a go of it. Where you mentioned Drav on a train. Where is Andrel, or what is Andrel in the middle of when Drav finds him? Or do you want to like go to the head of the Wraiths and like get permission from him?
That's how two different mob bosses do, right?
Right.
I think that's what it is. I don't ask him to skip out town on his people. I go to his people and I'm like, hey, I need your fellow. And if they're like, nope, then Drav is like, well, let me stake you the coin and also explain what you're gonna have access to stash on. So you definitely want to loan me your lurk here. So yeah, I think I don't know. I think Drav insists that he break the news to Andrel. And it's one of those classic like what the hell is his name, Nick Fury moments where he comes home and Drav is in a chair. when he's not supposed to be. And everyone he hires, he hands a card to, right? Because like Drav has this whole thing with playing cards. So, yeah.
Nice. So let's run it like a job.
Yeah,
it's I haven't looked at this part of the book in 1,000 years, which is totally awesome. That's the engagement roll. So what's the point of infiltration? Because I think this is like a stealth.
We have a key. We have a key that we're not supposed to have that's going to shut down certain perimeter wards and securities that's going to allow us to get through like the nastiest stuff, right? So
cool.
That's the point of infiltration.
Awesome. Let's make that engagement roll.
Sweet. Let's do it. Tell me how many dice am I rolling here?
Is this operation particularly bold or daring? Yes. Does the plan's detail expose a vulnerability or target or hit them where they're weakest? No one's supposed to have that key. You got it from a member of the Quicksilver Guard. That's a 1 in a million contact. I'm going to give you an extra. Yeah, so that's 2D.
Okay.
Can any of your friends or contacts provide aid or insight for this operation?
I think that the Quicksilver Guard, but he's not really a friend. He's definitely not. No, actually, I don't think we have.
Cool. So I think it's a 3D in total.
Okay.
Not bad.
And like we could do tier stuff, but I feel like we're in a weird place with tier because it's like this spontaneously built crew. So I'm gonna hand wave the tier away for right now, and we're just gonna say it's 3D total.
Heyo! Boom!
Nice.
There's that 6.
Nice. Bingo. Holy shit.
Controlled engagement on Bellwether. They didn't see this coming.
They did not. I think you guys get into the crematorium and get into some access tunnels. And you're walking through like you own the joint. I think the moment, the interesting moment comes when you come to a hallway and one way goes up towards the cultist holding cells and the other way goes down towards the vault.
I think so. Actually, I have a question here. Do we want to split up here, or do we want to like? I feel like Drav is very particular about the fact that the cultists have to be released. Like that's a condition on the job.
Right.
So I think that I don't know. Actually, here's my question, Rosalind. How good are you at talking to people?
Oh, good question. I will double check. I got a 1 in consort, 1 in command, 2 in sway, so like marginal. How about yourself?
Let's I am not the talker, I'm the sneaker.
Oh, yes.
So I think this is one of those fun moments where let's actually, you know what? I think that Drav spends a lot of time thinking about this. And I think that he actually says that, no, we're going to go to the vault first. And the purpose of the vault is because he's realistic. He understands that the only reason that other people are doing this is for the secrets that are hidden within, right? So one of the things, like, if we can flashback, so I'm going to do this a couple times because Drav is a good spider. I think that that we can flashback where he talks to each of the people and he gives them something to look for. And one of the things that he tells Andrel is that he doesn't he expects him to take as much money as he can out, but what he tells him is that the one thing that he's supposed to look for is a box marked with a raven sigil that contains the last remaining crate of ghoul. And I think that the thing that he tells Rosalind to look for is very specific information on the origins of the Spirit Wardens. And as a matter of fact, he brings up, he hands over handwritten notes that we've seen in season 2 up on the board, because when he was talking to the lady that thought that she was a wizard that was also a ghost from the library, she was talking about the origins of the Spirit Wardens and the Warders and like how the city was protected pre Spirit Wardens and things like that. And so what like, yeah, that's the thing that he hands off to Rosalind. So
cool.
Does that sound fun?
Yes.
All right.
Totes.
Definitely. Yeah, and I think the other question is, what is everyone's load? Which...
Oh, good question.
I'm alert.
Thank you. Thank you, Sync Guard.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I got that question from chat because I always forget. That's something I often forget.
Yeah, Rosalind, what is your load while I quickly look at my gear and decide?
I feel like I think given like the severity of this mission, like this is maybe the only chance she'll probably have to do this. Like probably heavy. I was thinking like maybe normal, but I was like, no, this is a very serious mission.
I think that I'm debating light actually.
Ooh.
Because I think that there is an item that may not be. It's not on this list. Hang on, I'm gonna add an item. I know I'm cheating.
It's okay.
A useful item. Oh, that's grand. What I need here is the ether suit. No, come back. There you go. We've seen this before in game. This is the skin tight, almost like diver like suit that Andrel wears that was crafted by the Dimmer sisters that allows him to temporarily pass through and phase into the ghost field. And I think that this is actually the thing other than the shadow cloak that he wears, right? Like this is actually how some of his powers work, right? Like so he has, for example, Ghost Veil, which allows him to partially shift into the ghost field to like phase through stuff and so on and so forth. And I think that this is a function of the suit, right? Like it's like saying that I'm Iron Man instead of, Doctor Strange or whatever. It's not that I have learned this ghostly powers, that I have the tech that allows me to do it. So yeah, I think aside from that suit and maybe a wicked knife, actually he had a pistol. He had like a weird pistol that he took into the ether. I don't think he brings like lockpicks and all that other italicized stuff, but for the most part, I don't think I need that much load. The only thing that is the question is, do you bring demolition gear? And the answer is, you only do that if you expect a plan C, and Drav usually expects a plan Q, but I think this guy is young and cocky and has been told that no, keep it quiet, keep it quick, in and out, leave as little evidence as possible. But I think I'm going normal. Yeah, I'm going normal. I'm normal gear. I think he possibly brought a few tricks that he wasn't supposed to, just in case. So we'll go with that.
Cool. And I think the audience sees the vault that they're about to come on in the minutes before they get there. And you see two spirit wardens straining to push the door closed, and then they close it. And then there are these electroplasmic switches, and they each go to separate ends. And one looks at the other and he says, "Releasing Ghost 1." He says, releasing Ghost 1 on 3, 2, and like on the other side of that vault, presumably, some feral ghost just got released. Releasing Ghost 2. Ready? Hold up. Yep. 3. No, wait. We got to start at the same time. 3, 2, 1. Snap. Releasing the last ghost. Then we got to get out of here. Ready? Yeah. Pathway out clear. Yep. 3, 2, 1. And then they bolt the hell out of there and lock the place up for the night. And yeah, I think that's the door that you all come to, is this 20-foot circular steel alloy electroplasmic locked vault door that is at the height of Bellwether Engineering.
Awesome.
And
so I have an idea here, Rosalind. I feel like this is, if you've ever seen Die Hard, I feel like this is the moment where, you've got the like 6 locks that you have to work through or whatever. And I think that Andrella basically just says like, okay, I can crack it, but I can't crack it if there's current in it. So can you clear the lines so that I can work? And then, he takes out like equipment to like drill into this and like cut latches and do the other appropriate stuff that you usually do with a vault.
Rad. Yeah, I think I know exactly what Rosalind does while that's happening. I think what she wants to do is kind of get like almost like when you get like a heat lock on like entities or like beings, so you can see where they are in like a room. I think she wants to do that, but like for their ectoplasmic like residue, so she knows where they are like inside the vault, pinging around.
cool.
I think she gets it real close to the door and almost like with it sort of fluidly almost melts into it and like closes her eyes and puts her palms like against like the cool stone or metal, whatever it is, and sort of casts herself like into the room beyond to see where they are.
Nice. Nice.
That feels like a tune.
Yep. Risky standard.
Excellent. Can I take a D for Ghost Mind? You're always aware of the supernatural entities in your presence. Take +1 D when gathering info about the supernatural discount.
Yes.
Excellent.
What a great power.
It's so good. I'm not even gonna use a bonus dice from stress. I'll just add the one from that. Let's see how it goes. I got a 4.
Okay. You do it, but there's a consequence.
I better try again for a desperate.
Yeah, I think that's what happens is in order to get in there, you make a little tunnel. And when you see what's beyond, and what's beyond, like the idea that this is called a vault is ridiculous. It's a warehouse with a huge door on it. Like it's literally like the warehouse at the end of Indiana Jones and the Temple, and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Like you put your hand to it and like you gasp, like I can't believe how big this damn thing is. And then you see the 3 ghosts that those men just released, and those ghosts because ghosts, and these were ghosts that plagued Duskval for years and disappeared because the spirit wardens got them. And rather than melt them in the electroplasmic furnaces above, they set them to their bank and said, guard our vault. So these legendary ghosts, right? I've named them.
Ooh.
Oh, good. This is my favorite part.
Yeah. So it's the headless scoundrel, the Mad Severosi, and the Red Lady, and
It's gonna be good.
these legendary ghosts that children talked about for years are here, and they all like converge into this little tunnel that you've made and try to get through and come out. And now we're in a desperate roll.
Rad. I have a question. Are these sort of ghosts the Demis sisters might be interested in possessing in jars for their establishment, or
Possibly, very possibly.
Ooh. Oh yeah, that's kind of weird. Yeah, I think I think what happens is like as soon as Rosalind clocks on to who these ghosts are and can sort of like sense their like the ghostly like sort of essence they're giving off really great stories, I think she receives them. Like they're coming at her and I think she will receive them to take them like home or like away from here because they deserve so much more than this.
Yeah. Where are you putting them? Like, what are you putting them in?
I think like I'm such a sucker for like any form of jewelry or like some kind of bottle you can sort of wear around your neck or like that kind of thing. Whether you can condense someone's sort of ghostly essence like into that, I'm not sure, but I like the idea of these ghosts clinking around Rosalind's neck all around this score.
Cool. I think wearable spirit jars are totally within Rosalind's vibe, and
I think to make it a bit like weird, I think she sort of like breathes them in, much like we've seen in season 1 of this show, and then sort of like blows them out into these jars.
I am curious to see how that shakes out for you. So let's
Me too.
let's roll some dice.
Okay,
Push.
let's roll. Yeah, I will push. Boo boo boo. Attune. Just seeing if I get any other D's. I don't think I do right now, but still standard effect.
Yeah.
Okay, rad. Add a bonus dice. Oh, I got another 4 again.
You've
Okay.
warded?
I have Iron Will. That's on. Yeah, that's. I take +1 data resistance rolls with resolve. But I am not warded.
So you do it.
Oh no, I am warded. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's just down the bottom there. Yes, I am warded.
Yeah. So.
I mean, I have an idea, Judd. If you want to know a severe consequence.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So she might capture a ghost, and the other 2 are throwing us around telekinetically and shredding us at this point in the room.
Yeah. I think you get the first 2, like the Mad Severosi and the Headless Scoundrel, zoom zoom into the jar, but then the Red Lady squirms free, and I think everyone's vision kind of turns into like a red haze, and she starts poltergeisting you folks around like ragdolls. And I think one of the things she's trying to grab is the little spirit jar you're wearing that's like pulling on your neck. Like she wants to let her friends free.
Oh, rad. I think I'll for sure spend my special armor to resist that consequence. I think when I feel her tugging at that necklace, I think Rosalind reaches out and sort of very delicately grasps her wrist and sort of tries to convey calm and alignment and trust and I will get you out of here.
Nice. Nice.
To coax her into the bottle.
resist that.
So let me ask some questions here. So question 1, I feel like for cinematic reasons, the Red Lady makes the room go red.
Oh yeah.
And I feel we see the Silver Nail level her spear, and like we get thrown to the walls and people bounce. You hear me cough. You see like blood pouring out of the bottom of my mask, kind of thing. And then we see like her grab that bottle, and the you catch her wrist, and we see like, what color is your magic?
Oh, Rosalind's magic. It has to be a very I like indigo.
Okay, so we see this like two colors fighting, right? And then I have a question, like is there like, obviously, like, you're using the warding to protect yourself from these like ghostly assaults, right? Because we see cinematically what happens when you don't have wards, and we see you having the wards, like, protected. Like, is this a like, are you trying to sway the ghost to like come with you peaceably? Do you have compel?
Oh yeah.
Like, what is the play here?
I think it's like a sway. Oh yeah, because you know what it is, right? It's like I've wrapped my hand around the ghost's wrist, and then it's like that sort of Sailor Moon-esque, like the Dim Sister's ghostly hands also wrap around like the Red Ladies.
Wow. Remote ghostly hand application. That is
yes.
Nice.
goddamn techniques.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
that's what it looks like.
So Judd, just so that we're clear, I know that there is a special armor being blown, but I get the sense that this Red Lady is a very powerful ghost. So, what effects are being applied to whom and for how much?
I think the Muscle and Andrell were kind of thrown against metal cages, and so they each took level 2 harm. Level 3? Oh, right, because it's
desperate.
Yeah, really? Yeah, it's desperate. Yeah, they each take level 3.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool. So in that case, I have to test this down, right?
Right.
So I think I will do that. Let me take a look here and figure out how I'm testing this down. So I'm in normal. Yeah. I think I'm gonna have to spend. Here we go. I'm gonna spend armor. And. And I'll just do a press resist, and we'll see how much stress that costs me.
I got so right up at the moment, dude. Shall I do a resist for resolve?
Yes, please do that.
So special armor will reduce any effects on you by 1. It may actually completely negate them. That is up to Judd. That is between Judd and you. I just wanted to make sure that, because like essentially what we're doing is we're having a level 3 effect thrown at us on a desperate, like a tier 3 effect, and so like I was just double checking, like, does that apply area? Because it feels like it applies area. Like, you wouldn't spend a ghost to only attack one person, right? So like,
right.
So I was just double checking. I was making sure that the rest of us are appropriately taken care of. All right, so
Yep.
I take 1 stress and I take level 1 harm, and I'm just gonna call it battered, if that's okay, Judd.
Cool.
Oh my god, I got 3 6s.
The devil's crit.
Okay.
Devil's crit. Appropriate.
So on a crit, on a resist, you also clear stress. Not that you have any. It's just.
Oh, I have 2 from pushing earlier. Yeah.
There you go. You get 1 back.
Excellent.
Nice. There's our 6s.
Rad.
Cool.
They're all gone now. We can't have any more.
So here's my question. Is there a role now to convince the ghost, or is this just all part of that? Is that folded into the resistance?
Yeah, I think the resistance was about the ghost getting free. So I think that it was about like the ghost lashed out and threw Andrell and the Kraken around, and then Rosalind took the ghost by the wrist, and then you saw other hands kind of come out of her wrist. And these other like electroplasmic ghost hands took her in and put her into the bottle. And there's like a thwoop noise as like the vacuum seals, and 3 legendary ghosts get locked around Rosalind's neck.
I think Rosalind like sort of delicately kisses the bottle and then sort of lets it hang free around her neck. They'll be safe and happy now. Hopefully.
And then I think everybody kind of looks to Andrel like.
Oh no, I think Andrel is still coughing from like hitting the wall so hard and making smart ass remarks like, if you're done making out with those ghosts, maybe you can do a goddamn job on this mission.
Yeah.
He's like, if I did a job that half-assed, my boss would have murdered me ages ago. Of course he wouldn't have. Andrel's already fucked up multiple times. But, he's got to talk big.
I think Kelsa Delphi makes a good point that as the red lady gets put into the jar, the lighting returns to normal, right? It goes from this kind of
totally
this otherworldly scarlet to blood scarlet to like the normal gold lighting of the hallway here.
I think like Rosalind puts her hand on the handle of the door and opens it and waltzes on through into the warehouse area.
I think I have to make a roll to make sure that you can.
Yeah.
Rad.
Yeah.
Cool. Jed, what kind of a roll is that? Tinker, I assume?
Yeah.
All right. Let me make some dice happen here.
I almost said I am. Yeah.
I will push myself. What is my position and effect for taking down this vault?
What are you using to do with it? Like, how are you doing it? Explain it to me.
All lurks immediately start with fine lockpicks. But I think I'm actually just gonna click on burglary gear, and what I'm gonna say is that like I have like drills and a stethoscope and like all that stuff you usually see in Hollywood montages for people cracking into safes, right? Like,
yeah.
Except that there's also like an electroplasmic nitrogen injector to freeze stuff, and
right.
Like you gotta put a couple gears on it. We are in a steampunk setting after all, so like so yeah, I think that's what I'm doing.
Cool. I think it's risky standard.
Yep. And I'm gonna push myself for an extra die, like you do. Boop. Triple crit!
Oh my god. Yeah, we're done. Those are all of our sixes.
What?
I don't know.
What?
I have not seen this many sixes in a long time.
No, that's wild.
Yeah, I think there's like a silent alarm that only the Supreme Warden knows about, and you find it and clip it and freeze it and clip it in a way that it does not go off. And
I think Andrel obviously like talks to the vault, and it's
nice.
Like, oh, hello there, beautiful. Why don't you whisper your secrets only to me, kind of thing, And like, like puts the little like bypass so that the current goes along his wire and not the vault wire or whatever.
Also, for sure, makes a quip about like, well, when you can stop making out with that door, it would be very nice to continue on with our mission.
High five! I love it. The banter.
Nice. And the door opens and you're all in this warehouse with rows and rows of artifacts. And I think the hard thing is going to be figuring out how to like go through it in time, before things open in 6 hours. Yeah.
So, Rosalind, do you happen to have the ability to commune with a ghost that might be able to tell you where to find specific things? Because they spend several human lifetimes in here.
I probably could. I also have Ghost Mind, which is awareness of supernatural entities and presence. So one of the things we're after is supernatural. I should be able to find it. Or is it better if I just like speak to the ghosts in the bottle since they've spent God knows how many years here?
However you want to do it. It is totally up to you. What's up?
Did you even think Strash, you smiled?
Yeah, I have a thing, but unfortunately I don't. Okay, I'll suggest a thing.
Yes, please.
This may be so. When Jed asks difficult questions like "How do you know where stuff is?" That is what you're saying is a perfectly legit answer. But I think that Andrell is going to talk to Jed. Like I'm talking to Jed as the player right now. I'm going to say I'm calling for a flashback, and I think that Andrell pulls out a piece of paper and opens it. And he has, like, rows and sigils, like, written in his boss's hand on a piece of paper on it. And that is the point where, like, I'm ready to pay stress, because this is slightly contrived. But this is the point where we flash back, right? And we go back to, Drav shaking hands with the boss man. And the boss man, like, being back in Duskfall with the Wraiths, trying, like, with all the goods that they had to sell because they were thieves of, like, high-end, slightly supernatural stuff, if I recall, right? And one of the things that the boss man had figured out is the boss man had figured out the thing that Drav and Maya had not, which is he figured out at least one person who is a spirit warden. And so then we flash forward and, like, train ride, masks being handed out, and then we see the Raven and the Kraken beating the shit out of a guy in an alleyway, and him, like, divulging some information, and then Drav handing the piece of paper to Andrell, who, like, pockets it, and therefore that's how he knows where to find the things that he needs to find. Of course we planned for this.
Yes.
Yeah, I think Andrell has a list of jewels and high quality goods that were taken from cults and haunted houses for years.
Is there pictures of, like, weird
Duskfall.
statuettes and stuff, or are we just going
totally.
straight money?
I think the Wraiths go straight money.
Okay.
I think the Wraiths. I think Andrell's list is straight money.
Okay.
Right. I think Rosalind might have a different list that is a little creepier.
What does the Severosi muscle want? Is there, like, a supernatural Severosi artifact or something, or is it, like, a specific thing?
That's a really good question.
I can let you think about that while Rosalind gets cool cookies.
Yeah. I've got an idea for the Severosi. I think the Severosi is going to grab these horseshoes that allow you to ride your horse into the ghost field. Yeah.
That's super cool.
And they were made years ago so that Severosi cavalry units could surprise the enemies of the Empire. And then the Silver Nails tried to get out of their service with them, and the Spirit Wardens just, like, came and took it from them. And that's, like, the root. That was the start of the enmity between those two parties. Was the Severosi saying that we have the right to that, and they're like, no, you don't. You absolutely do not. So yeah, I think that's what he finds, like, a heavy box with these 36 horseshoes in it that are made of this very strange heavy metal that allows you to ride your horse into the ghost field. So yeah, that's what he grabs. Absolutely. What else is there to grab? Like, what? So everybody's kind of, like, going out and grabbing their shit.
I ever, like, really. This might be too silly, but I was like, what if there was another sister in there? Is that too silly?
Not even a little.
No.
Okay, yeah,
I think
rad.
that's awesome. Yeah. Cool.
There is the missing dimmer sister.
Yeah. That is exactly the kind of thing that friggin' Spirit Wardens would have.
Excellent.
What is she
Yeah.
being kept in?
Oh, it's gonna be some super locked down, like heavily warded jar that like sort of jumps and rattles every now and then with fury.
Is it a room made of glass?
Oh yeah, heck yeah.
So you can actually see the ghost like warbling around, beating at the walls impotently, like she has been
Oh
for a
yeah.
while.
It sounds like a howling wind, but it's just like this howling spirit, like that sort of rattles throughout like the warehouse walls and nooks and crannies and stuff. Heck yeah.
Awesome.
I think the camera focuses on Undrell like going through the shopping list, right? And some of the stuff is obvious, like he's just like jammy, 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 and then every once in a while he's like, and he picks up like a random object and throws it in the bag. And then periodically he does like a thing. Like at one point he actually like carves something on a wall, which we will flash back to later.
Excellent.
Somewhere, somehow, Drav is steepling his fingers.
Nice. Nice. And I think you all like spend a few hours pillaging this thing, and then
It's like a timer go off, like
yeah,
like all right,
Yep.
we gotta move.
a bell ring, like a little ching goes off, and it's time.
All right.
Mhm.
Do we continue now into the like going up to the prisoner cells, or do we like swap to a completely different set
good
of
question.
characters?
Oh, do you want to
No,
switch
I was just
scenes
asking
to?
you. You're
Yeah.
the director
Yes,
here,
whatever.
Jed.
Oh,
Whatever
I
load is
love
good
that
for you,
idea.
Jed.
Yeah. Flash across town to a totally different part where
It's gonna be so mundane, right? It's be like a very mundane
it
juxtaposition.
is totally mundane. It is poor Nog's Thorn.
Yes, hang on. I have a character sheet for Nogs. He is literally a base level blue coat, no extra points. It is amazing. I
Oh
love him
my
so
God.
much. He's my favorite.
I got shivers just
Here we go.
with that whole thing.
All right. I am
Yes.
prepared.
He's arbitrating a carriage accident somewhere in Silk Shore. Like a goat carriage, two goat carriages collided, and like one is toppled over, and like no one appears to be too hurt, but one of them was carrying a bunch of fruit, and it's all over the street, and the goats are like stomping on it, and the owners of the carts are like screaming at each other, and not his partner is like being useless and directing traffic, and Nogs is trying to like get these two people not to kill each other.
I think there is a controlled roll that I will just assume fails,
Okay.
which is Nog's trying first to relate to them, and then when that doesn't work, like if the two of them like go at each other, I think he's just gonna try and like pin them and handcuff them, because like he's trying to yell at them and you just see like pieces of fruit flying up from the ground, and finally he's like and, like actually has to like, you know, take care of the problem. Is that cool?
Yeah, that's very cool.
All right, I'm gonna try and secure them if that's all right.
Do it.
All right, hang on, here we go. I'm just assuming this is risky standard unless you tell me otherwise.
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right, boop. Oh yeah, I get a 5.
Excellent.
Cool. So you do it, but is that
There is a cost and obstacle of further complication.
yeah? So I think you no, but you do it, right? No, you hesitate. So I think here's the deal. I will give you this choice. One of them really starts to fight back, and in order to make this happen, you're going to have to apply force, and you're not good enough at this to do it with just technique. You're going to have to hurt them a little. You're going to have to hurt them.
No, I don't think so. I
Cool.
think
So
Nogs probably gets hurt rather than like he's supposed to use force. He's just not. He tries so hard to be nice. He's just gonna get punched in the face.
Yeah, it's worse. The guy has the manacle on one hand but not on the other, so he swings that hand, and it's just like a mace hitting you in the temple. You don't go unconscious, but you definitely like everything's flashing, and I think when you come to, the guy is on the ground, like you've got like blood coming from your head, and the guy is on the ground because your partner had to walk over there with his club, and he put him down, and like then took the one that wasn't, and he didn't put it on his ankle. He put it on the guy's he didn't put it on the wrist. He put it on the guy's ankle. And he said, "Sit tight."
So the guy is like sitting with like one hand connected to his leg. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
perfect.
but it's like behind his back, and he's
I
like,
think Nox 100% says, I had him, and he's like, his like eyes swollen shut. He's like purple, you know. He's
Yeah.
like, I had that. It's fine. You didn't have to do it.
And you like as you wake up, you think it's a part of the concussion that like traffic on the street is stopping, and you don't understand why. So like you don't understand like why am I having this hallucination that traffic on the street is stopping, and then you realize traffic on the street is stopping, and you see a cart. A carriage that we haven't seen since the first episode when the Lord Governor rolled up to anoint Maya Tui as an inspector and make Dravaron her liaison. And you look around, and like the crowd that was like wanted to see the fruit guy go against the coachman has dissipated. And the Lord Governor's guards take this kind of peripheral positions in imperial livery around this whatever scene, and the Lord Governor walks up, and I think we've cast him as like an older Steve Buscemi with like graying facial hair, and a stuffy 3-piece suit. And he says, "Are you Private Noggs Thorn?"
Oh, I think Nox is 100% doing like a salute at this point. Yeah,
it's a board, like yeah.
It's a little off because you can't quite see his hand, but yeah. Yes, sir. I'm. That's me.
Adorable.
Good. I don't want to walk all the way across the city. Why don't we get in my carriage?
Whatever you say, sir. Lead the way, sir. I like.
Is this your former partner?
Former, sir.
Is this your former partner?
Yes, sir.
You're in charge of this mess. Deal with it. This has been cleared with Silkshore Precinct. If you need to deal with if you need to talk to your watch sergeant or the precinct chief, feel free.
I think like Nox is behind him going, and like just like mouthing like, what?
And he like.
But he like snaps too, just as like the Lord Governor is turning.
Yeah, and I think like your partner has no idea what the etiquette is, so he goes to one knee like it's some kind of pre-cataclysm king.
Oh my god.
And he goes,
there's fruit and goat stuff everywhere still, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and like so he like very solemnly goes to one knee, but like next to him is a goat like chewing on an orange, like loud.
Smack,
and
smack, smack, drip.
The Lord Governor is just like perturbed at how ridiculous this all is, and he says, "Get up." Let's get in the carriage. We'll leave the idiot with the idiocy.
I do have enough coherency to open the door for the Lord the Governor.
Yep. He trundles in and sits down and gestures to the seat across from him. And you realize that the carriage didn't have any goats, and it's a goatless carriage. It just it runs on electroplasmic steam.
Oh, of course it does.
And yeah. And he says, "You found some information and handed it over to Inspector Maya Tui and Sergeant Dravaron. Is that correct?"
Yes, sir.
That was smart. And for your intelligence, I am rewarding you. Dravaron is away on family business. You will be the City Watch liaison to Inspector Maya Tui. She is currently looking into the information you gave her, which I'm sure you remember, is a possible plan to kill the Undying Emperor. Have you told anyone about this?
No, sir.
Other than Dravaron?
No, not Nogs is like super pale, and it's just like, nope, I wouldn't, not on my life. It's
How did you get your partner to keep quiet?
I think Nogs actually tells this truth, which is idiotic. But what he says is, I didn't tell him what was in the satchel, sir. He didn't even know. And after we saw the witch come out of the canal, he didn't want to know, so...
Yeah, he laughs. He's like, that's very good. Well done. I am feeling better and better about this decision, Nogs, with every word you say.
Thank you, sir.
Keep information integrity is a huge part of this job. As the City Watch liaison, you are in charge of making sure that the inspector, mandated by the Undying Emperor to investigate this case, has the cultural and administrative support they need to make contextual choices in difficult times. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions?
No, sir.
I think that you pull up and he says, "This is the Justice Tower. Maya Tui's office is, Inspector Tui's office is on the 14th floor. The stairwell is right through the front gate. Your name has been put on the Justice Tower roll. If you have any questions, you come to me, as I am the highest ranking Imperial officer in the city."
Yes, sir. Sorry, I just realized exactly who I'm writing all of my reports to. Go on. Poor Nogs, he doesn't know better.
Good luck, Nogs. Keep up with your paperwork. Keep me informed.
Excellent, excellent. Awesome. So what is Inspector Tui investigating? Or that Nox is gonna jump in on here?
That is such a good question. I've been racking my brains like for the past 2 weeks trying to figure out what leads to follow up on. And I really wanted to do something that would just throw Nogs like way out of his depth. But I'm not quite sure what that looks like.
You did have the 3 people who were killed in in a similar manner.
Yes.
As the body you found, like their spirits were severed the body in a surgical way. It's very similar.
Yeah.
So
Vay Morrison.
So it's like the
Vay Morrison,
the warehouse, the factory. Sorry, yeah.
Yep, Vay Morrison, the Black Silk Spider. We talked to the Hound of the same gang, but he didn't have a whole lot of information. Lotting Edrad, who was an ink rake that was writing an article. We had talked to his editor, and he handed over a bunch of papers that Drav was working through. And that is how we ended up talking to the serial killer in thingy. And then last but not least is we don't know anything about Audrien Lamond, who was a factory worker at a paper mill. The Tremont paper mill. That's all I got.
Excellent. So it sounds like the black silk spider and the paper mill are sort of the more of the untapped leads.
Yeah.
Yep.
Excellent. I feel like that paper mill's been sticking out to me for a long time. Let's go ahead and have a paper mill.
Cool.
We want to have any introductory banter between Maya and Nogs when Nogs pops into her office? Or
if you recall, Nogs actually has been. So I assume that the scene that we just played out, Judd and I, probably took place like maybe like a week or so ago. Does that sound fair?
Sure.
The reason I'm bringing it up is if you recall, last time Drav was giving Nogs some tips on working with inspectors.
Yes.
So I think that Nogs like is straightening up like Maya's desk, which she probably will not notice, and he has like a fresh cup of mushroom tea, which he like gently is blowing on so that it's the right temperature, and he like occasionally pulls out his little like detective pad, which has like a checklist of things that he's supposed to do, and like adjusts the pencils and other stuff, and like just tries to make sure that everything's great because he like showed up an hour early to get everything perfect so that Maya shows up whenever she shows up. But yes, I don't know that he has banter because like he's like holding like a cup of tea and is like usually like very like, oh yes, what can I do, Inspector? Like very still not 100% sure of his role in this whole thing. So I don't know, like do you fill him in on anything? Because otherwise he just like sits there quietly and like looks very awkward. Like I see him as like having this like really long neck and like a pronounced Adam's apple, so that like when he swallows in terror, it's very obvious.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of that. 'Cause I feel like Maya is cordial enough with him, but like I'm sure Nogs catches her looking at him with this look of like vitriol, and it's not at Nogs, it's at the Lord Governor, because she knows the Lord Governor did this.
He doesn't actually say anything, he just swallows faster and like tries to get smaller in the carriage or wherever we're going.
Yeah, so yeah, especially those looks where Maya's like, God fucking damn it, I hate the Lord Governor. It's like, and not poor Nogs, this is like a reminder that like she keeps it inside obviously, but she has those looks of like, God damn it, every now and then. And it's not poor Nogs, it's just because the Lord Governor did this. She's sure he did this to try and slow the case down.
The Lord Governor, Mom?
I think like Maya she like tries to say something a couple of times, just like shakes her head. And it's like, how long have you been working here, Mr. Nogs?
Here as a liaison or like as a Bluecoat, Mom?
As a Bluecoat, I suppose I can hazard a guess at how long you've been working as a liaison.
He very proudly says, I had my 1 year day, not 1 month past. Like that's some sort of achievement.
I think she nods and says, oh, like, congratulations.
And I forgot this, but the very first game, and this was mentioned to me by Dark Lavender Void in chat, there was a young Bluecoat who was getting sick because of the carnage that was on the bridge, and that Bluecoat was named Nogs.
That's amazing.
That's clearly Nogs. Like, it's clearly fucking the same guy.
That was his first day.
That was his first day.
Amazing.
So good. So good. All right.
It was a total accident, but I'll take it.
Amazing. I love when role-playing games do that.
Yes. I will totally take it. So, cool. We going to a paper mill?
Heck yes.
Awesome.
Nogs really badly wants to ask, like, why are we going to a paper mill? But, like, every time he's like, nope. just gets out, makes sure that he opens the door first. Yeah.
Oh my God. That's brilliant. So I think you all take a gondola over to.
Oh, it's not a carriage. Excellent. All right, that's fine. Sorry, I was assuming we
Yes.
were in a carriage. That's why I was mimicking doors. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, you take a gondola over to Barrow Cleft, where this paper mill used to be, and Barrow Cleft is a built into a cliff, and most of the town is built into a cliff, and then there are some mills and factories on the beach next to the water, and near where the docks are, and yeah, the old it's called the old paper mill warehouse now because it hasn't been a paper mill since the fire. Excuse me. Woo! Hasn't been a paper mill since the fire, and now it is a kind of it's a sweatshop, most of it. And as you walk in, there are rows and rows of children sewing cuffs onto pants. Matter of fact, let's just make it more on the nose. They're sewing cuffs on Bluecoats. That's what they're doing.
Oh, dang.
It's rough. Okay.
Yes. And I think there's like there are stern foremen kind of walking around and commenting on work. Very good. And redo that stitch and that kind of thing. And they seem big compared to the children. And then Maya Tui seems like another level of size above these tiny people who are forcing child labor. So yeah, you walk in, Maya Tui, and the head foreman is I don't know, whoever your least favorite elementary school teacher is. She probably looks like her. And she walks over and says, "I've heard you're an inspector. How can I help you? Has one of the children done something?"
No, I can't imagine they have. I imagine it was far before their time. This is about matters of the past.
All right, then how can we help you?
This. I'm not sure if the name Audrien Lamond means anything to you, but they saw an untimely early end whilst this place was still a paper mill.
Oh, the old mill. Yes. The custodian who looks after the mill and tars the roof. He was here back when it was a mill. He might know. He sleeps out back, but we don't go back there. It still smells. You can still smell the fire.
Oh, may I speak with him?
Sure, he's back there.
Very well. I go by
Yep. And what's his name? His name is Old Song.
Old Song.
That's a lovely name.
And how long has he been the custodian, roughly?
He's totally played by Tom Waits.
Oh, lovely.
And he's got that like gravel voice, and like that's why he was named Old Song, because it's kind of like one of those ha ha ha, you have a gravelly voice. We'll name you Old Song, and then double ha ha ha, we'll cast you as Tom Waits so that people who watch it know that you actually do sing. I've been here since I was them kids' age.
I see. That's I think Maya has been keeping quite like a stoic front like ever since she saw what this place is now, and is like, God fuck, like I think just all this is like sort of slowly built up like grains of sand after driving her split for this time. And I think she's like, I trust they've been treating you well in your time here.
I mean, I guess. As long as I keep the rain off the kids' heads and doesn't mar the Bluecoats. you know, I mean the blue coats, not the blue coats, sir. He like looks at Noggs because he is a blue coat. He's like, I mean the coats that are blue that the kids sew. You know what I mean? Anyway, how can I help you?
Yes, we are inquiring after a Audrien Lamond who used to work here. I'm not sure if that name rings any bells, but they sew an untimely end here at the mill.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, I remember her. She was a union organizer, and she had some wild ideas.
Oh? Nothing to get her killed, I hope.
He closes the door to like the hall, like looks both ways as if like someone might be watching.
I think
Or as if
Nugs
he's-
also looks just like
Yeah.
to double check. But go on.
She was gonna link up the mill union with the other crafts unions, but it didn't get intense until she started talking to the railjacks. She was going to link the labor unions with the railjack unions. That'd mean if your mill workers went on strike, the trains would stop. There was a fire 2 weeks after that. And then the unions never recovered.
And do you think that was related?
I'm sure it was just a coincidence, ma'am.
Of course.
You write that down. Let the undying emperor know that I definitely thought that was just a coincidence.
Very well. Were you there during the time of the fire?
Yeah. I was there that day.
Did you observe anything out of the ordinary?
I think Nog says something that he doesn't understand is important, which is, he says, it's 8 years later and it still stinks of fire. Of course there was something other than ordinary. I said, and then, like, startles and looks at you and says, like, it's Duskwall, Mom. It's never anything other than not ordinary.
No, but you have a good point. It definitely still reeks of fear and charcoal.
I got knocked out and dragged out. I don't remember what happened. I was running back here where she was. Must have run into a wall or something. I woke up outside. No idea who dragged me out. No idea, nothing.
I'm not quite sure how to put this delicately, Mr. Old Song, so I apologize. But do you know where precisely she died on this site?
There's like a door in the corner, like an old side door. He goes, they found her pushing against that. The door was locked, apparently. Or she couldn't find it because of smoke inhalation.
I think before he gets that second sentence out, Nog says, I'm sure it was just a coincidence.
Hmm. And I think, like, Maya says, I would appreciate some time to investigate the scene in private, but before we do that, there didn't happen to be any unusual presence the night of the fire. Individuals you hadn't seen before. People with tentacle tattoos.
No, I didn't notice nothing like that.
No one from the docks or out of place of sorts.
No, I would have noticed.
Of course. I think like Maya looks at Nogs.
Nox completely misinterprets that and goes, "Right, you heard the inspector? Let's give her some space. Pip, pip, this way." You know, like, just totally ushers the man out, because clearly that's what you meant.
Okay.
All right. I'm moving. I got old bones. Let me.
I think Maya doesn't know quite what to say to that when Dogs ushers the poor man out. Oh, she probably says like, that blue suits you.
Thank you, Mom.
And when they're alone, I think like Maya, I think she just looks at Nogs quite pointedly and says, "I'm going to begin the investigation now, and you can be here for it, or you may excuse yourself, but that choice is yours."
Which would you prefer? He says, completely uncertain of what the right answer is on this exam.
I think Maya's like,
"Stay. No. Go." I'm going, ma'am.
Oh, I think like Nogs is more than welcome to hang around for this, because there's gonna be some cool ghost stuff. I think that's the and I kind of picture this like the door where she died. There's still like sort of that charcoaly like sort of remains of like ash and that kind of thing like around this place.
Yeah.
I think Maya puts the hand of Kotar on the door, and because that's sort of linked with flames and stuff, right, and that kind of thing. And I think like this is what I want to happen. The ground like sort of tremors a little bit, and then like the ash begins to vibrate, and it starts like sort of reverting back to sort of orange embers, like as if this to sort of like rewind the time. Around this doorway.
I didn't think of I didn't think of the handprint, and I didn't think of the fire as. Yeah, that's awesome. It's clearly risky great.
Heck, awesome. And that smell sort of like swells in everyone's nostrils, and you can kind of hear like the licks of flame and fire like in your ear canals. Okay, I'm gonna push myself and attune. Great bonus die.
Oh yeah. Oh,
I got a 5 in there. It's okay.
Cool.
I have no idea what harrowing effects this is going to have on poor. I guess Audrey and Lamont's ghost is gone. It's okay.
I want to hear what Judd tells you, obviously, as Strash, but I want to hear what Judd tells Nugs that he sees.
Oh yeah. Oh, and of course, like the head of Kotar, the veins in it begin to sort of glow as well, right? Like as
so
my hand gets black.
Let's step back before Nogs. Nogs, you see this 7-foot-tall witch squat down to the door where this young woman was clearly pushing against the door, and she like looks at the door for an unspeakably long time until she seems to like find the exact handprint, you know, as if it's still there. And when you look at it, you're like, it can't still be there, but you see it and it's there. And then she takes off a glove that she's always seems to be wearing for some reason. And her hand is like that of this like clawed mummy. And it looks like a different size than her other hand. And when she puts it up to the handprint that shouldn't be there, I love the idea of her veins glowing red with fire. And the ashes, you see them start to fall off of the door and like go back into the fire from which they came. And you see the floor catching fire all around. And it's like she's rewinding the electroplasmic echo of this fire. And there's a blank space. Now I'll like shift into what you're both seeing. There's a blank space where this girl's spirit or the echo of her spirit should be. And it's just not there, as if it's been totally destroyed. So all you've got is like, the reason why this is working so well is because you're not really tracing her, you're tracing the fire. And you see that it's her body that's pushed up against the door. And when you look behind her, watching the fire take hold, and with a man over his shoulder is like the scratched out, spiritless man who scratched himself out of the ghost field so that people like you wouldn't be able to find him. And the only reason you can really see him, because you're doing the echoes of the fire and not the ghost field necessarily, you're in a weird hazy area, is because he scratched himself out. So like the absence is more noticeable. But there is a consequence or something. I think the consequence is going to be that you've kind of drawn Nogs into this. So I'm going to give Nogs a level 2 a level 2 spirit burn.
Oh my god!
Oh no!
As he is
I think this is totally what happens. I think Maya is so focused that she doesn't hear Nogs yelling about how the room is on fire and we need to get out now. And I think he like tackles her to try and save her, which is probably why he gets completely toast.
Nice.
I would like to resist that noun.
Yeah.
So I actually have a power. It's a pretty cool power. It's called The Shield. When you protect citizens or a fellow officer of the law, take +1d on your resistance roll and take -1 stress from the roll. So yeah, I feel like I'm I don't know what is this conviction?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, cool. I'm gonna roll my +1d on my terrible conviction. Resist. Oh yeah! I'm gonna take 0 stress.
Nice.
I would like to reduce the harm.
Yeah, so you reduce it down to 1. Yeah, I think like you can feel something got burned, but when you look at your skin and your flesh, it's fine. And I think Nogs doesn't have the context to understand that his spirit just got singed.
No. He's clutching his symbol of the weeping lady and praying as furiously as he friggin' can.
Nice.
He's pretty sure there were demons involved. They need to call the spirit wardens right now. So, yeah, that's where Nogs is at.
Awesome.
Could I? So like, I just love this idea of like Nogs jumping at Maya and tackling her to the ground, because like what I had wanted Maya to do was like have some kind of like crochet hook or something to try and like string some threads back together to at least recreate a little bit of what like this scratched out person looked like, where he's taken the threads of like reality and sort of like ripped them to pieces.
Yeah.
What? I'm happy.
I mean, I have ideas, but I need Maya to calm Nogs the F down, because right now he is standing between her and where the fire was, and he is trying to pray it away. Does absolutely nothing, but that's what he's doing.
Oh no, I love it. So I think like Maya was reaching for that hook, right, and like gets tackled. She drops it. She gets ripped out of like the reverie that she was in, and looks to Nog and looks to the crochet hook and is like, oh, fuck's sake. And like goes to Nog and was like, are you okay? Like, and goes to like tend to him.
He's a little freaked out, right? Like I think Nox is not used to this the way that Drava is. Drava's like, yeah, whatever, you know, like, and Nox is just like, oh my god, no, why is your hand? And he's trying very hard not to look at your weird hand, because he's pretty sure that it's like, he doesn't understand the Kotar context at all. He's just like, what the fuck is that? Don't look at it, but what is that? Like, he is completely freaked out of his mind. He's like, I'm sorry, ma'am, I don't know what's going on. It was burning. It's not burning right now, but I can still feel it. He points at his hand. Go on.
Maya takes a steadying breath and is like, I apologize. Oh god, and she really wants to say, like, I told you could not be a part of this. But she bites her tongue and she's like, I agree, this is a lot. This is not your average case. I made an assumption that you would be aware of that, given the nature of it, but I was mistaken.
Doug swallows real hard and says, do all investigators investigate like this?
I think she smacks and it's like, only the dedicated ones.
You know what? I think he made his resolve resist. And he's just like, he takes a few like hard steadying breaths and says, excuse me, ma'am, and then turns around and very secretly takes a swig from a flask and then turns back around and says, can you explain it to me one more time? I'm sorry.
Oh. And Maya nods and is like, I'll be as brief as I can. And a lot of this probably won't make sense. And if that's the case, please stop and ask questions. There are no dumb questions.
They're only dumb dogs. Sorry, I'm sorry. Go.
And she says, we're pursuing what I can only describe as a man who has scratched himself out of time, who is, as we understand, responsible for a string of deaths, one of which being Audrey Lamond. And I think she looks at the door and I guess the flames are still kind of like burning.
Okay, so he's a murderer and he doesn't exist in time, so his actions didn't happen?
More, he doesn't exist in time. No, he still exists in time. His face has just been erased. His actions have lingered and continue to linger.
So you're saying that he's like Lord Skurlock, he doesn't have a reflection in a mirror?
That is perhaps an adequate analogy. Likewise seems to possess a level of undying that Lord Skurlock likewise possesses.
Oh.
We we initially tracked him into the canals, which is when we first learned of his nature and his ability to remove himself from time. But this is the second instance of it I've seen. I don't think he wants folks like myself figuring out who he is and where he is.
So if you can't see him, what were you trying to do here?
He'll make mistakes. I get the sense that he thinks he's very intelligent and very cunning, but he'll make mistakes. And if we can find a thread, a single thread, I'm confident we'll be able to find out who he is.
So you were trying to look back in time?
I did look back in time.
But you couldn't see him, because he doesn't reflect in things.
He does not. I can show you, and I think she goes like, she lifts the Kotar hand.
Strauch is trying to intimate that while his ethereal self may be invisible. He's in a room with glass windows, and his face may be reflected in firelight.
Ah, genius.
It is not a thing that I would recognize as Noggs, but it is a thing that a brilliant observation for a detective may put together.
Definitely. I love that. There's that look of recognition in Maya's eyes. This is like, oh my god, maybe Noggs is the exact thing we needed to solve this case. I would love to make an observe roll.
Cool.
We might get that scene of like Noggs and like kisses you on the forehead. like
Actually, it's really funny because you like grab his head and he's like, I did it, and then he flinches away from it.
What is my position and picked for this
controlled
role?
great.
That's such a good idea. Dang it. I will. I'll push myself for dexterity on this. I really want to get this. Oh, there's the 6. There's the 6.
Cool. So
I love the difference between our die pools. It's like blip, and yours is like this is so great. Go on.
You rewind the fire, and this guy, he's not in the ghost field, and you see him on one side. You can't see him because he's got Old Song over his shoulder, right? But then on the other side is a window, and you look in that, and the fire is lighting him up, and he's not scratched out.
Yes.
And he's got a black beard that's just beginning to gray, and he is very tall in a dark suit that you feel like an old leech would wear. And he's dressed like a doctor, and he's got like a butcher's smock over his suit. And you see him like watching the fire carefully, like watching to make sure it's spreading in the right places.
At that moment where like he and I lock eyes, like in the reflection of the window kind of thing.
Yeah, but he's looking at something else and you're looking at him. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, I think this is that moment where like Maya's like, you're a fucking genius, and like plants one on Knox's forehead and like cups his face with like her 2 hands.
I just had this image of Maya like twirling and like going out of the room with purpose, and Knox still being like,
oh yeah.
is every day gonna be like this? And like follows.
That's totally what happens.
And there's a knock at the door, and Old Song is out there, and he's like, can I come back into my room?
Yes, of course, Mr. Old Song. I think Maya's like great, like she's beaming, like we've never seen her beam before in this TV show.
Yeah. And I think like Old Song has like stayed outside and continued drinking. So he's getting a little sloppy. And he's like, I don't want you to think that because I had a blow to the head those years ago that I didn't remember nothing right. I mean, the doctor looked at it right after. So
did this doctor have a salt and pepper beard, rather tall, dark suit, butcher's apron?
Oh shit, he was wearing a butcher's apron. That was queer.
I think Maya like grabs his shoulders, like not like menacingly, but just like with kind of like this desperation of like, I've had no fucking leads this whole time, and this is the one who's like, what was his name? Like, what? Tell me everything about him. He's
like, wait. And he goes into a closet and brings out these old ledgers. And he's like, the old mill foreman was a little nutty. And whenever anybody visited, he'd have them sign in. And he turns to like the last soot stained page, which is the last day the mill operated, and that paper mill foreman, was forcing people to sign in, and you see the name. Where the fuck is it?
Oh my god, I'm so excited.
Damn it, I wrote it down and now I can't find it. Doctor, forget it. I'll just go to the name thing and bring up another one. Dr. Voren Tyrconnell.
Ooh. Excellent. It's just like a name and like nothing else. There's no like a signature or like position or anything. It's just like just a regular sign-in sheet.
Yeah, apparently like someone had a hand injury in the mill and he was the substitute leech that day because the other doctor couldn't make it.
Excellent. I think Maya like jots down the name and again smiles at Old Song and says like, "You've been incredibly helpful here today. Thank you tremendously."
You're gonna find the person who killed that young woman?
Yes.
That's amazing. I didn't think anybody would even bother to look.
Well, I
think Nogs perks up and says like, "Well, you ain't never met an inspector, especially not." What was the line that you used? Like only the dedicated ones, or something like that.
Oh yeah,
it's like especially not one as dedicated as Miss Chewy.
I think Maya does like go a bit red. I like Nox. There's no chill.
Yeah. I think Old Song like grumbles like, "I don't think you understand who the inspectors report to, son." Like he just yeah, I think Noggs understands, right? Like
no, actually Noggs barks it out without question. He says, "I have met the Lord Governor, sir." It is 100% wrong, but it's okay. This is Noggs' worldview.
Oh
Maya can correct him as necessary.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Old Song kind of claps him on the shoulder and says, "All right there." And then he turns to Inspector. He says, "Inspector Tui, I'm glad I was helpful."
Well, yes. Is there anything we can do for you in return?
I could always use some money.
Oh god, I don't think I have any. I think like Maya sticks her hands in her pockets and is like, "Oh my god."
Noggs has something. It is not an impressive amount. Like a coin is thousands of dollars equivalent. I think Noggs has like a 20. And I think that's what he gives him. I mean, it's the equivalent of pocket change, but like he does what he can.
Right. Thanks. Have a good one.
Same to you. If I do come into any considerable wealth, I can assure you that you will be on the list of people I will repay.
Cool. I think that's a perfect place to cut back to the
heist.
The heist. I think maybe, but we've been on for almost 2 hours. So do we want to take a
break?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we should totally do that.
Tea break.
Tea break. All right, folks. We will be back shortly. Please hang around. We're gonna jump back into the heist as soon as we get back. Let me get my pages and stuff all queued up here. And all right, we shall be back soon.